Hi guys, welcome to the class. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about what are the different types of classifications we have and what are the types of classifications for ports and harbors. So, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the introduction for the ports and harbors and what is meant by port and harbor, types of ports and harbors, what are the differences between a harbor and a port, what is meant by a port. The port is a location on a coast or shore containing one or more harbors, where ships can dock and transfer people or cargo from land or to the ships. A port is nothing but a location on the coast or the shore, contains one or more harbors and which is useful for transfer of people or cargo which it is passing. So, a port is a place on the coast that facilitates loading and unloading of cargo or the materials or people, and a port is usually located inside a harbor. A port is located inside a harbor. So, in a port, there are number of harbors, one or more harbors continuously built to form a port. Or a port is a place where on the coast that facilitates loading and unloading of the materials, people, of the cargo which it is transporting. A port is usually located inside a harbor. What is meant by a harbor? Here, a sheltered area of the sea in which vessels can be launched, built, or taken for repair, or could seek refuge in time of storm to provide for loading and unloading of cargo. So, a harbor is nothing but a place where, where it is situated on the coast where ships, boats, barges, etc. can be moved safely. The word harbor is derived from an Old English word, herbior, meaning shelter or refuge. In American English, this is spelled as harbor. So, a harbor is nothing but where a place where these refugee ships are uh, a repair for the ships or the shelter for the ships. If there are any storms occur in the middle of the sea, these harbors are. If there are any storms are occurring, these harbors helps for the placing of that cargo and the materials which they are transporting, the loading and unloading places must take place. That is nothing but a harbor. So the harbor is situated on the coast. The harbor is situated on the coast. There are different types of ports: inland port, fishing port, dry port, and warm water, warm water port, sea port, cruise home port, and port of cargo port. So there are different types of ports. Mostly we have five types of port. In that seaport, we have cruise home port, port of call, and cargo port. So what is meant by an inland port? An inland port is a port on a navigable lake, river, or canal with access to a sea or ocean. Inland port is nothing but a port on a navigable lake or river or canal which has access to the sea or ocean. Therefore, this allows ship to sail from the ocean inland to the port to load or unload its cargo. So, We have different examples for that. Mostly, uh, so what is meant by an inland port? An inland port is the connectivity between lake or river or canal which has access to the sea or ocean. These place where this port, inland port, where the place where the loading and unloading of cargo or the passengers takes place. So, what is a fishing port? A fishing port is a port for landing and distributing fish. It may be a recreational facility, but it is usually commercial. It is the only port that depends on an ocean product, and depletion of fish may cause a fishing port to be uneconomical. So rapidly catching of these fishes from the oceans, which may which may reduce that port value, and that port may become uneconomical. If the vulnerability for the fish to live in that region of the in that part of the ocean where the fishing ports has been constructed, the, those ports are nothing but fishing port. These are only meant for landing and distributing of the fish. If if the fisheries, if the fish the product which they are catching for run for the port to be run. So if that fish may uh, depleted, if that fishes may deplete or extinct, cannot reproduce in that region, so that fishing port may be uneconomical for landing and distributing of fish. Lack of fishes may cause that port more uneconomical. In recent decades, the regulations to save fishing stock may limit the use of fishing port and perhaps effectively closing it. So, in the fishing ports, these fishing ports are nothing but a ports built for landing and distributing of fishes from one place to another place. So, the main aim of this fishing port is uh, the material of fishes. So these fishes are deliberately distributed from the catching of the area to that port to various ports or various regions of the various parts of the world. So this is the main motto of the fishing port. In these fishing ports, if the vulnerable material of the fish may be depleted, so these fishing ports can become uneconomical because of the loss of fishes that bring economy to that fishing port. So if the fishes are not uh, properly saved, and the stock may limit the use of those fishing ports. If there is unlimited usage of stocks or like fishes, uh, so that these fishes which are to bring economy to that fishing ports may be uneconomical at certain points where the stock may limit the stock may have unlimited use of the fishing port. So they has to bring a regulation to save this fishing stock, which may limit the use of fishing ports. What is a dry port? Dry port is an inland intermodal terminal directly connected by road or rail to a seaport and operating as center for the transshipment transshipment of sea cargo to inland destinations. The dry port is nothing but a port which is constructed to bring the connectivity between the roadways and railways to the seaport and operating as a center for the transshipment of the sea cargo to inland destinations. So Warm water port. A warm water port is one where the water does not freeze in winter time as they are available year around, so that the warm water ports can be of great geopolitical or economic interest. So these warm water ports which may not which may not freeze the water bodies present in the winter seasons. So these warm water ports are capable of running of the shipments throughout the year. So there are great geopolitical or economical interests which bring more economy to the ports which are built at the warm water port areas. So in those warm water ports, these are mainly used for any raw material distribution or the cargo distribution or the and also fishing ports. These dry ports which operated from the directly connected between the roadways and railways, which bring the connectivity for railways and roadways. So seaports. A seaport is further categorized categorized as a cruise port or a cargo port or a cargo port. It additionally, the cruise ports are also known as the cruise ports are also known as home port or a port of call. The cargo port is also further categorized into a bulk or break bulk port or as a container port. Bulk uh, break bulk port or as a container port. The cruise home port is the port where cruise ship passengers board to start their cruise and disembark the cruise ship at the end of their cruise. So, in the long journeys, who are capable of travel on the water bodies, these cruise home ports is the ports which are useful for cruise ship passengers board to start their cruise and disembark the cruise ship at the end of their cruise, at the end of their journey. It is also where the cruise ship's supplies are loaded for the cruise, which includes everything from fresh water, fuel, fruits, vegetables, and any other supplies needed for the cruise. So, in the cruise home port, in the cruise ships, the supplies are abundant. The supplies are every matter of every thing they must supply to this cruise ship. So, the fresh water and the fuel and fruits, vegetables, and any other supplies needed for the cruise. These cruise home ports are a very busy place during the day. The cruise ship is in port because of going passengers debark their baggage and oncoming passengers board the ship in addition to all the supplies being loaded. So when the cruise home ports are these are very busy place during the daytime. So because of the passengers who are debarked their baggage, luggage off, and ongoing oncoming passengers board the ship. In addition to that, ongoing board members, their supplements, they are the all supplies being loaded in that cruise home part. So it is very busy place during the daytime, and these cruise home ports uh, must be filled with all the supplies loaded with all the supplies for the ongoing for the oncoming passengers who are boarded into the cruise ship cruise. So port of call is an intermediate stop for a ship on its sailing eternally. At these ports, the cargo ships may take on supplies of fuel as well as loading and unloading of the cargo, while the cruise liners have passengers get on or off the ship. So, a port of call is an intermediate stop, for the ship on its sailing areas from one region to another region. There is a mid stop for this intermediate stop for these ships, and these ships they can fill the passengers who are going who are debarked from that ship or who are getting onto the ship, and also the loading and unloading of the cargo they are traveling, they are carrying, and the fuel needed for their journey, as well as the supplements, like fruits, vegetables, and different kinds of materials which they are loaded or unloaded, depends upon the passengers who are going to get onto the ship or of the ship. These port of call is nothing but a intermediate stop for the ship. The cargo port. Cargo port handles very different cargo, very different cargo, which has to be loaded and unloaded by very different mechanical means. The port may handle one particular type of cargo, or it may handle numerous cargoes such as grains, liquid fuels, liquid chemicals, wood, automobiles, etc. Such ports are known as the bulk or break bulk ports. The cargo ports which handle very different cargo, which has to be loaded or unloaded by very different mechanical means, because they are cargo ships, the ships those who are those carrying the materials, numerously cargo such as different types of grains or liquid fuels or liquid chemicals, wood, automobiles. There are different materials can be transported by different type of ships. So the cargo port must handle uh, different types of cargoes and may handle numerous cargoes. Different types of cargoes are bring on to the port areas, such as grains, different types of grains we have, and the liquid fuels, different types of liquid fuels, and also liquid chemicals, wood logs, and automobiles, etc. Such ports are known as these. Handling of these numerous cargo ports are known as the bulk or break bulk ports. These ports that handle containerized cargo are known as container ports. Uh, in a large ship, we can see different types of containers which are having different type of materials in that. So the containers which are going to be loaded or to be unloaded, those only handle the containers. These container handling ports are known as the container ports. The most cargo ports handle all sorts of cargo, but some ports are very specific as to what cargo they have to be handled. So uh, there are mostly different ports we have which handle all sorts of cargoes, but there are some rare ports which only which only handle very specific as to that what cargo they must handle. These individual cargo ports are divided into different operating terminals which handle the different cargoes and are operated by different companies. These are also known as terminal operators or terminal operators are stevedores. So different types of cargoes are operated by the at the terminal are operated by the different companies. If the cargo which is carried by the ship is of different types of grains, there is a different company which helps in the operation of loading or unloading of these materials. And for the liquids, there is another company. Uh, Likewise, there are different companies which are operated on the different handling of cargoes. These are also known as terminal operators or stevedores. Stevedores. So there are different types of harbors. We can see natural harbors, semi-natural harbors, and artificial harbors. There are majorly divided into three types of harbors.
which are natural harbors, semi-natural harbors, and artificial harbors. So, when coming to that, natural harbors, they are naturally formation affording safe discharge facilities for ships on sea coast in the form of creeks and basins are called natural harbors. With the rapid development of navies engaged either in commerce or war, improved accommodation and facilities for repairs, storage of cargo, and connected amenities had to be provided in the natural harbors. So, these natural harbors are naturally formed for affording safe discharge facilities for ships on sea coast in the form of creeks and basins. So the size and draft of present day vessels have necessitated the works improvement for natural harbors. The factors such as local geographical features, growth of population, development of the area, etc., have made the natural harbors big and attractive, like Bombay and Kandla are examples of natural ports. Examples of natural harbors. Sorry, the semi-natural harbors. This type of harbor is protected on sides by headlands protection and it requires man-made protection only at the entrance. Visakhapatnam is a semi-natural harbor and artificial harbors where such natural facilities are not available in the countries having a seaboard had to create or construct such shelters making use of engineering skill and methods and such harbors are called artificial or man-made harbors. So Madras is an artificial harbor. What is the major difference between harbor and a port? Harbor is a place on the coast where ships and boats and barges can seek shelter from the stormy weather. And port, port is a location on the coast that can be used to load and unload of the cargo. So, harbor in harbor, the loading and unloading of the cargo cannot be taken place. Only the shelter for the ships can be seen in the harbor. If the economy generated in these harbor and ports, the economy generated in the ports is high when compared to that of harbors. If the port is located, if port is a fishing port where the economy they can develop with the fishes, they can transport from deliberately transport from one place to another locations by mean of the port. So the raw materials, the cargo, different types of grains we can carry. So the loading and unloading places where taken place are called as the port. Port is located inside a harbor, and a harbor cannot be located inside a port. So there are different types of ports can be associated with can be located inside a harbor, and harbor it cannot be located inside a port. So these small types, these two or three ports can be combined to form a harbor. So these two or three harbors cannot be combined to form a port. And the purpose, harbor is the purpose to provide shelter from the weather conditions. The purpose of the port is to load and unload of the cargo creation. Harbor is usually a natural structure and ports are generally artificially created. The ports are artificially created. Facilities. So the ports are commercial entities and often have many facilities like warehouses to store cargo and well-built transportation systems. In harbor, the harbors do not provide as many facilities as ports. The ports are the commercial entities and often have many facilities like warehouses to store the cargo and well-built transportation systems. So In the port areas, we can load and unload the cargo materials and also store those cargoes. Those materials which we are carrying can be stored. So, warehouses are constructed to store these cargo in the ports. And in the harbors, these do not be provided as many facilities as of ports. And according to the Visakhapatnam port is one of the leading major ports of India. It is situated in Visakhapatnam city of Andhra Pradesh. The port is located on the east coast of India. The port has three harbors: outer harbor, inner harbor, and the fishing harbor, the fishing port. The outer uh, harbor with a water spread of 200 hectares has six berths, and the inner harbor with a water spread of 100 hectares has eight berths. So the principal commodities traded at Anchorage Port included muslin cloth manufactured at Uppada, East Godavari district, manganese ore exports to UK and USA, oil seeds, jaggery, jute and indigo, hides and skins, and extensive trade relations existed with Burma. What are the construction features of port? The unique feature of the harbor has been the island breakwater constructed by scuttling two old ships, Jonas and which form the skeleton around which a rubble mound is formed. The location of the port is very ideal in the sense that it affords protection from cyclones which strike the east coast regularly. The low tidal range of a maximum of 1.82 meter is also advantageous for the location of the port. The harbor was constructed by dredging 281.8 million cubic feet of land and soft material. The port was constructed at a cost of 378 lakhs. 378 lakhs. It is constructed with an amount of 378 lakhs. The handling facilities: Cocking coal facilities, a deep draft berth in outer harbor with a queue length of 356 meters to handle vessels of draft up to 14.5 meters is available for handling imported cooking coal. Cooking coal. So the berth is capable of handling 10,000 DWT vessels, two floating cranes, and in the bulk express iron ore and pellets. The functioning of mechanical ore handling plant known as ore handling complex comprises of the receiving system and the shipping system. The ore received through wagons is tippled and conveyed to the stackers for stacking in the receiving system. The shipping system reclaims the cargo from the stacks and conveys through the conveyors to the ship loader for loading into the ship's hatches. The system consists of three bucket wheel reclaimers, 4,000 tons per hour capacity, a long overhead conveyor system which is of 4.8 kilometers in one way. Railway network at Port of Visakhapatnam is the largest amongst Indian ports with over 200-kilometer rail length. A road running within the port land was commonly being used historically over a long period by the port cargo traffic and the city public between port area up to NH5. So the major drains originating from the upper reaches of the city are discharging the drainage water at different locations into the port area. Before they finally discharge into the sea, these reaches of drains in port area are being maintained regularly by the Visakhapatnam port to ensure free flow of the water and to keep clean environment of harbor waters. So an annual expenditure of an amount of 70 lakhs is being incurred for maintenance of drains and the culverts which are provided in the Visakhapatnam ports for major drainage systems. So these are the different awards and achievements achieved by the Visakhapatnam Air Waterways ports. So ISO 900 quality management system and ISO 1401 environmental management system, and different types of achievements. These are. Thank you and see you in the next class.